me any. I can see. A lot of very lot. Okay. Yeah, in the
Yo,
Is here. The legend is here. The legend. Yeah. Good. It's not the time there. 7 2 p.m. Good afternoon.
yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. It's a great privilege to have you here, sir. It's a
Yeah.
great privilege. Yes, sir. Sure. So, we really want to know a lot about you. I think we here in Ghana really want to know a lot about you because we have been watching your videos. Most of your videos, we have been watching you have been educating us a lot. Shall we really want to know a lot about you? So let's start with some questions and let's get straight into it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So actually, we want you to tell us more about yourself, about your family, your personal life. We want to know you, sir.
So, okay, I started playing in my father's church probably when I was 13, 14 years old.
Sure.
I was terrible. I come a long way. I used to follow a lot of bass players, but the main one I really impacted me was Jeffrey White.
Okay.
Now Bishop Jeffrey White. He was an incredible bass player, so creative, so funky, always locked in the groove with the drummer Bobby Walker, and that really impacted my playing. That's why I
Yes, sir.
say it's important for you guys to look up to the right bass players and drummers, because that's basically going to shape who you become. And I don't think a lot of people understand that part. Even with singers, whoever you look up to, that you shaping who you are. So if you following a singer that's always too busy, you studying to become too busy. Just like with a bass player and a drummer. So I started playing and I got better. I started to understand the concept of what the bass guitar was.
Yeah.
And one thing about me, I always practiced a lot.
Okay.
A lot. And I was always listening to music, listening and study the legends of that time, Joe Smith,
Yeah.
Jonathan DuBose and Stephen Huff and all those people like that. And I would always want to be on records, but I knew it was going to take a lot to get there. And I started to be on the scene, the music scene a lot, and be seen and be heard, because that's very important. There's more to it than just being seen on Instagram. You guys got to get out there and be seen.
Yes, sir.
And heard, and people see your personality and start to like you.
Yeah.
And people started to notice me, and I started to get small gigs, and I was happy for the small gigs. Never complained about the small gigs because I knew that's where I would learn and get better. And, you know, I got embarrassed a lot of times, but that comes with the territory. You got to just deal with getting embarrassed. You can't just, nowadays, you can't just want to get embarrassed and go grab your gun and shoot people. You got to be able to deal with it. And because of Instagram, a lot of young musicians think they're supposed to be famous overnight. You may never be famous, or you may just be famous on Instagram. And that's it. Instagram is just an app. That's only part of the equation. There's way more to being a musician than just Instagram.
Yeah.
And, you know, I got a chance to play with a lot of up-and-coming artists, like, you know, Hezekiah Walker, James Hall. I was playing with them before they really got popular. They, you know, they saw me on the scene, and then Hezekiah asked me to play. I was playing for the anniversaries, but I wouldn't play on the records because I wasn't ready yet, and I was cool with that. So as time went on, I guess Hezekiah saw that I was improving. I've been practicing, and he saw me at a church, and he asked me, he said, hey, we getting ready to record live in Atlanta. I want you to play a couple of songs, so come down to rehearsal. He said, will you do it? I said, yeah, of course. And that's how I started. The late Melvin Crispo asked me to be a part of James Hall's God's in Control. So I got to do both those in the same year.
Okay.
That's pretty incredible. Then the next year, I did those two again.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've been blessed to be in the right spot at the right time. And yeah, I guess the rest is history.
So actually, Liz, are you a full-time musician or you a part-time musician? Are you a full-time musician? Are you fully into music?
Oh, no. I'm in that ended a long time ago. I'm in graduate school now for social work. I'm going to be a therapist. I graduate this May. Only got 3 more months left. And then you got to have something to fall back on. You can't just rely on music or you're going to be broke.
yeah, that's true. So, is it important for a musician to mentor someone, to have a mentor, to have someone you look up to? How important is it?
Because, like I said, if you look up to somebody playing, you're going to shape yourself to play the same way they play. And a lot of times, musicians that you follow, you don't really know their personality. You don't know what they're really about. So you just got to be careful because Instagram is a place where you can, if a person's page is public, you can basically watch them every day. And everybody's not showing you everything about themselves. They're just showing you the stuff they want you to see. You don't know what they're doing. But at the same time, none of us are perfect. Yeah. So everybody's going to have a flaw. But, yeah, you need to look up to somebody to show you the way, be honest with you about their experiences. Yeah. And you gotta have somebody that's going to tell you when you're not doing right, when you don't play, when you're not playing right, you're too busy. But you can't be in your feelings when they tell you that. A lot of people today in this generation, everybody's in their feelings. So sensitive. You can't be sensitive. How you going to learn if you're sensitive?
Yeah, that's true. So how many albums have you played on? How many albums?
I don't know. It's not nothing crazy. Probably less than maybe 20 or less. But it was the quantity over quality over quantity, man. So all the gospel stuff I played on, people remember to this day. So that's a blessing by itself. And that was, that was 27 years ago. Time is moving on, and people still remember that. So I'm honored that they still think about that.
So the next question is, I think most of the young musicians recently are duplicating the play of some of the musicians who are out there playing. So how can a young musician identify his uniqueness in order for him to not duplicate other musicians?
You're always gonna duplicate somebody in the beginning. You're always gonna. That's how we all start, and we all gonna start doing cover tunes at some point. But just like life, cover tunes should have a season, and that season should end at some point. But while you're learning, cover tunes are for you to learn and get your own style, understand the concept of your instrument, even with the singer. And once you get that, it's time to let go of the hand of the cover tune and become the person, the musician that you're supposed to be. And I don't think people understand that part. There's a lot of people today that they do cover tunes every day. They use it for content for Instagram.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that requires so much time. When are you practicing and trying to get your own sound, your own style, where people can know it's you playing without even seeing you?
Yeah.
A lot of people today sound the same because everybody's doing runs. They doing harmonics. Bass players playing the lead guitar. They all sound the same.
Yeah,
You don't really hear that guy that's just a straight hardcore groover and really original. You don't hear that. It's just not happening anymore.
That's true. That's true. So is there a link between ethics and music? Is there any link between ethics? Yeah, ethics. Yeah, yes, sir.
What do you mean?
Is there a link between ethics and music?
You mean ethics with the way people think?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would say definitely. Definitely. You have to approach music as you would approach going to school. It's a class, and you have to learn. You got to take notes. You got to study. A lot of people do not study. Study means put the phone down, get off Instagram, go listen to music for a couple of hours. Listen to what the bass player did. Comprehend what they did. Then pick your bass up and try to play what they played, understanding musically what it is they did. A lot of times, this generation does not understand what they're playing. They're just duplicating it for content, to get likes, to get more followers. They don't understand what the bass is supposed to be doing. Because when you turn the cover tunes off, now they can't play nothing. And that's a problem. That's a problem. Can you imagine if the only time you could speak is when somebody tells you what to say? What happens when that person disappears? You're not going to know what to speak.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, how is it? Okay, let's go into relationship. How important is it for a musician to maintain good relationships?
Very important. Depending if you want to know the truth. Sometimes when you just got to be in the right crowd, but also you got to be in the crowd that's going to recommend you and not talk about you behind your back. You want to be around the crowd that's going to recommend you for gigs, that believe in you. And yeah, there's always that one person that has the opportunity to hook you up and never does. They always hook up the people around you.
Sure.
And I've been a part of that, but when God has something for you, no man can stop it.
Yeah. That's
true. I've seen the good, I've seen the bad. People are people, and people are not going to change. They're always going to have people that are haters and don't want to see you succeed and kind of ignore you. They respect you, but you might bring a fear to them because you're so good at what you do. A lot of people want all the shine of themselves. A lot of times you hear records like today, gospel could be a lot better if people and producers would use the people that were the best for the job, not the people that's in the clique. The people in the clique are not the best ones to play the record. A lot of times when the record comes out, it's not as good as it could have been because the people that were the best to be on the organ or the drums or the bass, they were left out because they're not in the clique, and then the music suffers.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, how do you see music production recently? How do you see the production of music? How do you see it? How good is it?
It's boring. It's boring.
Why?
I mean, if you listen to R&B, it's no live bass, there's no live drums, so that's boring by itself. I don't want to hear a song that doesn't have live drums or live bass, and I'm starting to hear that more in gospel. I was listening to the radio, and I heard a lot of songs are just programmed drums and key bass. That's a recipe for disaster. Somebody said gospel is not being streamed like it should be, and you guys need to start streaming gospel more. I said, for what? What am I streaming? I don't want to hear a lot of the stuff that's out there.
Yeah.
If a genre is killing, you shouldn't have to beg people to stream it. They'll do it on their own. But
that's true.
Gospel has a lot of issues with it right now, and if they don't change the recipe, I don't know why they ever broke away from the recipe for the 80s and 90s. stick with the recipe. You know, you got all these restaurants out here that got a great recipe for their food. They never change it because it works.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah, that's true.
what are you trying to change the recipe for? It's not working. People got to change the recipe. No, stick to the recipe instead of trying to change it.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. And so, what are some of the toughest experiences that you've gone through that help build you into who you are now? What are the toughest experiences?
I mean, experience, man. I've been through a lot musically, up and down, and been through a lot in life. And I've been through some situations in life that strengthened me, and that's why when people try to come at me on Instagram, that's not going to work because I've been through too much in life. They don't know about. So when you try to talk about me in these little posts and these IG lives, and that's doing absolutely nothing for me. It's not going to bother me because I'm 55 years old. I've been through hell and back. So certain things I'm never mention anybody's name in my posts. I said what I said, but I never ever tried to embarrass people. But people have tried to embarrass me, and it never worked. Never ever, and it's not going to work. The Bible says too much is given, much is required. In their life, and they want to talk about Reggie Parker. Hey, talk about me. I'm on it.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Say it again.
So what was the first? What was the first biggest concert you played, and who were you on stage with?
Oh, I don't really have a favorite, honestly. I enjoyed all of it. I was on some. It would be hard for me to answer that question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah. So the next question is, how can a bassist lock in with a drummer? Yes.
I don't know if I can explain that without demonstrating, but you have to. You see, if you was listening from the beginning, I told you I followed Jeffrey White, and Jeffrey White always locked in with his drummer, Bobby Walker. So I would always pay attention to that. But unfortunately now, you don't see bass players and drummers locking in. You don't see bass players and drummers even communicating with each other at all. And that's the problem for you guys like you that's trying to learn, because you don't see it. Because it's a free fall. Everybody got their camera out trying to get content for their page, and it's all about them. Team is about a team. You gotta get back to that team mentality, not that individual mentality. And that's the problem right now. And you got to understand the concept of grooves. If you don't understand the concept of grooves, you'll never be able to lock with the drummer. You got to be able to understand that concept of whatever you play in your bass, the drummer should play the same thing. Or whatever the drummer plays, you play it on your bass. That's a concept that I can't really explain on here. Maybe one day people will hire me to bring me in. I doubt it because, people are hating on me right now, but it's cool. But I got a lot of information to give, and I will be able to show you. But other than I can't show everything on Instagram. You gotta have stuff in person. We got to get back to getting together in rooms and doing seminars and get off this Instagram. And that's the only way music's gonna get better. That's the only way a lot of the young bass players and drummers are gonna learn.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, is it important for a musician to have a practice routine?
Absolutely. You gotta know when it's time to sit there and practice. But you gotta know what to practice.
Yeah.
I think a lot of young cats don't know what to practice because their life is consumed by that CT, cover tunes. You got to be able to sit in a quiet room like this and pick your bass up, and you should still hear music. even
Yeah.
when music is not playing. Because at some point in your life, if you become a professional, somebody's going to ask you to create something for them. If you're a bass player, they may ask you to play in their record, and there's no bass line, and they're gonna want you to create one. And if you can't create one, you're done. Bye bye. I got to call somebody else. And now they're not gonna call you for the next time because you already showed them that you can't create.
Yeah. That's true.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
All that stuff that I played on, all those gospel records, is nobody ever told me what to play as a bass line. I had to make all that stuff up myself.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah. And they all sound great. They are all great stuff. You have great stuff. I've actually listened to most of your albums, and do you have any albums coming out? Most of your music you played out there. I've actually listened to most of the songs you played out there. Do you have any album coming out? Any other album?
Oh yeah, I have. I just released a gospel project in last September called "God You've Been Good." God You've Been So Good. I have a single that's coming out in February, and I have a secret that's coming out hopefully March or April. I'm not gonna say it's a gospel thing, but it's a single. It's pretty crazy. I think it'll bless a lot of people. It's finished. It's being mixed and radio edited now, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that coming out. I think a lot of people will really enjoy it. It's a remake I did of an old song, and it's pretty killer. Yeah, it's amazing. And I don't never really do that, but I posted up something, and the guy told me, "Yo, you should redo the song on one of your projects." And then the next day, a close friend of mine said, "Yo, dude, you need to redo the song." I said, "Really?" So yeah, stay tuned for that. It's pretty incredible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the last question. Let's take the last question out of it. Please, the last question is, what do you prefer for bass string spaces than others? The other ones, that 5, 6.
I get asked that question a lot. It's just preference. I've always fallen in love with the 4-string. Jeffrey White played a 4-string. I love Marcus Miller. He played a 4-string. Jocko 4-string. Stanley Clark 4-string. I just didn't see the need for extra string. So once you fall in love with something, it's very difficult to fall out of love with it. So it's just a preference. I just love a 4-string, man. That's why I always write hashtag 4 strings for life. I'm not changing. If you love 5-string, I really believe in my heart many bass players want to play a 4-string, but because everyone else around them plays a 5, they don't have the heart to say, you know what, forget the 5, I'm gonna play a 4. Because there's no way in the world everybody just wants to play a 5 and 6-string. There's somebody out there that just wants to rock a 4. For something about that 4, man, that 4 is a sexy instrument, man. Because you're limited, and that keeps you creative, because you can only create with those certain 21, 22 frets. And it's very challenging, and I love a challenge. And for me, it's 4 strings for life, and I don't see that changing at this point in my life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's great. So please, the last advice for the young musicians out there. Any last advice for the young musicians out there?
You gotta study. You gotta study. You gotta find the right people to study. Because a lot of you guys are studying the most popular people on Instagram, and they're not necessarily the right people on Instagram. Because a lot of these cats are showing you how to play it the wrong way. You're not gonna get gigs by overplaying. It's not happening. No one's gonna call you, say, "Yo, man, I want you to overplay in the song I got." It's not gonna happen. Yeah. You gotta demonstrate all the right things if you're trying to get discovered on Instagram. And one of the right things is playing, with discipline, displaying grooves, and just locking it in. You don't see that too much on Instagram. You see everybody's trying to overplay just for content because Instagram is paying for reels. So people are just trying to get people to watch something to be ooh and ah. Ooh and ah is not going to get you jobs.
Okay, that's true.
And I think Instagram is a drug that has been ingested into many people, and they cannot get it out of them. And I don't know what it's going to take for music to get back, the bass playing to get back the way it was. You might be looking at 15 years from now, man, because a lot of people have that drug in them, and they can't get that attention drug out of them. And it comes see it. It's not just becoming obvious. When you listen to gospel music, you don't hear no bass lines like you used to back in the day. You don't hear nothing that make you say, yo, who is that on the bass? You don't hear that. That doesn't happen anymore. And that's sad because when I came up, that's all we did. Stephen Huff on bass, Joe Smith on bass, this person on bass. It was a great time. Now it's over. I don't know how you get back to that. Like I said, it's gonna take a long time. And you might have to start with those people that are just being born right now.
Yeah. That's true.
Where you at? You in Nigeria?
No, Ghana.
Ghana. Oh, man. How's music out there?
Music is okay.
Okay.
It is okay.
But that's what a lot of people see. You got to say the music scene is popping, it's killing, but you know what? The music scene ain't really popping nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, you go to certain, if you go here in New York, then you go to Atlanta, you go to this place. It's basically the same thing. Everybody's in the club doing the cover tunes, and people come club. Then you go play at the church, and then it's just a cycle. That's all it is. It's just repetitive. And after a while, that's going to get boring to you, man. That's why you got to have a backup career. Musicians mortified. They were lost in space. Short-term memory. Never forget what COVID did musically. It wiped people out.
Sure.
And now everybody got their chest poked out again and forgetting about COVID, because COVID could come back again, and now you can sit there mortified. You still didn't go back to school. You still don't have another career. And if COVID come back again, you're going to be mortified, worrying about how you're going to pay your cell phone bill.
Yeah, true. That's true. That's true. That's true. It's great having you here today. You have been great. You have been a blessing today. God bless you, sir. God bless you for being here today. We actually appreciate it. Yes.
Yeah, man. Anytime. You know, I appreciate you asking me to be a part of it.
Sure. Welcome, sir. God bless you. So thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, man. Blessings to you, man. Have a great day. Take care, everybody. Hope you got something from it. Go practice.
Yes, sir.